What's going on, guys? Thank you for tuning in to the BS Show. We got some new rumors flying around the UFC and Twitter and Facebook and about every social media platform. It seems like every fighter is, trying to get that big fight. They're trying to call people out. They're trying to, get back into action. And I don't really blame them. This whole coronavirus thing is really taking a toll on everybody, especially fighters. Fighters want to fight, and you can't really blame them. But the new rumor going around that I really think is just a rumor at this point, but it seems to be gaining a little bit of traction, is Kamaru Usman potentially fighting Conor Mcgregor for the welterweight title. So Conor McGregor could potentially be the 45, 55, and 170-pound champion. He's on his quest for that third belt. Now, me personally, I would probably not suggest that. I think that I might tell his coach, hey, we probably better not do this. We might be biting off a little more than we can chew. But if there's one thing that Conor McGregor has, he has a fan base, he has pull, he has a lot of money in his pockets, and we can't deny the fact that when he fights, he brings a lot of eyes on the sport. So Kamaru Usman is our newly, completely crowned champion, not interim, after he beat Colby Covington, about a year ago or so, maybe 6 months ago. So he is our outright UFC welterweight champion, and he is number 6 in the pound-for-pound rankings. And, he is a wrestler. He is a black belt in jiu-jitsu, and he is the Ultimate Fighter 21 winner. So this dude's, been around the block. He's been in the UFC, I believe, now for 7 to 8 years. He's fought a lot of very, very tough guys, and he's only got one loss. And I think stylistically for Conor McGregor, this fight is an absolute nightmare. One would think that Kamaru Usman is just Khabib Nurmagomedov on steroids because he does have that really, really strong wrestling background. But we cannot sleep on Kamaru Usman striking either. The dude will stand and bang with everybody. So I'm going to rattle off a few guys who he's beaten in the UFC and just, pay attention to what they're good at. Because Kamaru Usman's way more than a wrestler is what I'm trying to get at. So he just recently beat Colby Covington, who, if you guys remember, Colby Covington was taking down everybody consistently. Very good wrestler. I don't think a single takedown was attempted that fight. I could be wrong, but it was a stand-up fight the whole time. Then he absolutely destroyed Tyron Woodley for the interim belt. He took him down and just beat him within an inch of his life. Not even competitive, that fight wasn't. Kamaru Usman demolished him. He also beat Rafael dos Anjos, who is a former 155-pound champion. He's also beaten Damian Maia, who is a jiu-jitsu world champion, very dangerous, and Damian Maia's had a few title shots in his day. And then he's beaten Leon Edwards, who was a great striker. They just tried to get Leon Edwards to fight Tyron Woodley for a potential number one contender spot, and Leon Edwards has beaten guys like Donald Cerrone. He was supposed to fight Jorge Masvidal. He's got great striking. So, Kamaru Usman has beaten him as well. So pretty much what I'm trying to say is wherever this fight goes, I would feel very confident with Kamaru Usman, not to mention the discrepancy in size. Welterweight is 170 pounds. Kamaru Usman, one would think that he's walking around at 200, 210. It's not unusual for these guys to cut 25, 30 pounds. So Kamaru Usman is just going to be physically much bigger and much stronger than Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor does have lightning hands, but how is that power going to translate moving up once again to 170 pounds? Conor McGregor's had success. He ran through the 445-pound division. He beat, very good guys in the 55-pound. Eddie Alvarez. He beat Nate Diaz. I think that was at 170, though. So we both know that he can do very well, but sometimes you bite off more than you can chew, and sometimes you move up a little bit too much weight. And I think for Conor McGregor to move up to 170 pounds, he's really kind of pushing it, because a lot of people said that when McGregor fought Diaz at 170 pounds, McGregor didn't really have to cut any weight. He's naturally probably around that 170 to 175 mark, if I'm just guessing, but I would assume that's where Conor McGregor's natural weight is. And now you're fighting a Kamaru Usman who cuts a lot of weight to get to the 170-pound mark. So you're fighting a legitimate welterweight. You're fighting a guy who's cutting 25 to 30 pounds to get there. So I don't know. I don't know if Conor McGregor's power can translate there. I also don't feel comfortable with Conor McGregor on the ground. Kamaru Usman is going to probably ragdoll him, and if it becomes a wrestling exchange, he's got black belt in jiu-jitsu, and I just think that the strength and the power of Kamaru Usman can overwhelm Conor McGregor. So that doesn't mean that Conor McGregor can't do well in this fight. That doesn't mean that Conor McGregor can't put on some weight and possibly win. We know that he's got lightning fast hands. We know he's got that power shot, and maybe he baits Kamaru Usman to a stand-up fight. I don't know. But if I was a betting man, I would probably bet on Kamaru Usman. So I just wanted to throw this video up because this has kind of been circulating the world of MMA for the past few days, and I wanted to throw it on the BS show and see what everybody thought. So let me know in the comments below what you think of this fight. First of all, do you think this fight's going to happen? And if it does, who do you think walks away with the victory? Thank you for tuning in.